Hello number ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and today I want to talk about whataboutism. But before we do that, as you know, lately I've been making a lot of videos when it comes to the situation that happened to Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to continue to do so. I will cover other topics as well. I will do the occasional historical old school video as well, so I'm not going to discontinue those completely. But right now you have to kind of excuse me, if you will. But this is something that is really important to me. It matters for me, and I will be covering a lot of news that are related to this and other current day matters. But if there is one thing that any one of you has experienced, is whataboutism. Now, this isn't a new thing. This is something that's been going on every time people either don't know how to attack an argument of yours logically and therefore look for an escape route, or they're just annoyed that you're talking about something they either don't care about or that profoundly annoys them. And when that's the case, usually has links to their politics. So what is whataboutism? Well, whataboutism is a rhetorical technique where someone responds to criticism or an accusation by deflecting attention to a different issue, often by pointing out perceived hypocrisy or wrongdoing by the critic. And instead of addressing the original point, they essentially say, oh, what about this other thing instead? This pattern is a logical fallacy. It is absolute pure hypocrisy on their part, and I'll show you why. But most importantly, it's annoying. Like, I mean it. Every time I see it in the comments, or during my live streams, in the chat, or on my posts on X, it annoys me. Mind you, I don't get angry or particularly frustrated, because usually I either ignore people or I respond in kind. You see what that means in a second. But it is annoying because another adjective that we can use to describe the people that usually use whataboutism is sanctimonious, holier than thou. And aren't those the kind of people that you're like, you know what, just I had enough of you. Bye, bitch. As a rhetorical technique, whataboutism can be problematic, particularly when you're trying to raise awareness to a point that you think it's important. I mean, at the end of the day, this is YouTube, you being me in this case. So if I care about a specific topic, and that's the area of discussion I would like to focus on, and you disagree not with my takes, but with the choice of topic, don't click. It's not like I'm forcing people. Guys, I'm mind controlling you. You have to click this. No. I put a topic, you click to tell me, but what about this? Why didn't you talk about this other thing? Well, you make a video about that then. See, this is the problem. Whataboutism avoids accountability for the original issue, derails productive discussion, creates false equivalences between different situations, and can be used to deflect from legitimate concerns. Don't get me wrong. Pointing out legitimate double standards can be relevant and productive to a discussion or debate. But you can tell them apart very easily. What does whataboutism look like? Well, let me give you one of the most prominent examples that I've had to deal with since I started talking about Charlie Kirk. Look, Charlie Kirk got assassinated. It's a disgusting thing. It's horrible. Look, everyone is laughing about it. What the heck? What about Nancy Pelosi's husband? I'm going to have to make a video dedicated to Nancy Pelosi's husband, but suffice to say, to the people that have been wasting their precious time to comment that, I would like to do a single reply now. Yeah, it was horrible what happened to Pelosi's husband. I wish it never happened to him. And people that laughed about it were wrong. Can I now speak about Charlie Kirk, thank you? Because you see, Charlie Kirk is relevant now. It happened now, which is why it should have priority. 2, it's on a completely different level. The guy died. Mr. Pelosi did not die. 3, Charlie Kirk's was a political assassination. Mr. Pelosi's wasn't a political assassination. It was a private matter, the way I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong. 4, there weren't tens of thousands of people laughing at Nancy Pelosi's husband being hit, and they didn't receive over 500,000 likes on a single video. Did they? So, apart from the fact that me choosing to speak about Charlie Kirk right now due to the fact that it's a relevant current event already overtakes the priority of speaking about Nancy Pelosi's husband, which happened, when did it happen? In 2022? I don't even remember. You'll correct me. But the level of gravity also should give priority to what happened to Charlie Kirk. And that's one. And this is really the most important thing of all. Whenever they tell you the whataboutism thing, What about Nancy Pelosi? They're assuming I never talked about it. But I did. I spoke about it, both on X with a post and on my channel and my live streams, condemning it. Because when people brought it up, I said it. Oh yeah, what happened to her husband was horrible, obviously. Yeah. So that's another problem. The people that use the whataboutism never check. They assume. Why? Because the reality they're doing it because they don't want you to talk about what you're talking about. That's all there is to it. Let me give you another example that people have been telling me. So I've been speaking about the situation with Charlie Kirk, and people tell me, oh, you're condemning what happened with Charlie Kirk and you're sympathizing with his children, but what about the children in Gaza? It's another one I get. I want to do a double response to this type of whataboutism, specifically with this topic. The first half of the response is the following. Once again, they did not check, because I have spoken about it. I made a very lengthy post when the war broke out on my X, where I shared a broken heart for every innocent child that died because of this war. Whether it be a Palestinian child or an Israeli child, to me is irrelevant. A child is a child. It is a tremendous loss, and therefore my heart goes to them and their families. Absolutely. I did it. I said it. I wrote it. And I said it on this channel, on stream, dedicated to the war. So, once again, did they check? No. And the other thing is that while now I've decided to finally lift my restriction when it comes to political matters, my restriction being, before, I would only talk about politics if it was connected to either gaming or history, ancient history. But now I lifted that, and I will talk about whatever I want, whenever I want, without having to give any justification. And that's how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. That doesn't mean that I won't speak about ancient history again. Of course I will, but I won't have to justify. If I just want to talk about something, I will. But the posts that I made and comments that I created in relation to the children that were dying because of these wars in the Middle East, I made them when my policy was still in place. So there is that. The second answer to this is the following, and this is the strongest one, and my reply to all forms of whataboutism. You can use it back at them. Whenever you want to talk about something, anything, can be anything. And then they come to you and they tell you, but what about this? And they give you a tragedy that has happened. Give them another tragedy back. Use another tragedy back at them. But what about the children who died of starvation in Africa? This is why it's pure hypocrisy. Because they will only talk about the things that they want to talk about, and there will be plenty of tragedies that they will not mention and that they will choose not to talk about. Why? Because they wouldn't care about children dying in Africa of starvation? No, because for whatever reason, they are choosing to address a topic on a specific day. Fine. But if you're going to come to me and tell me, oh, what about Nancy Pelosi? Then I'll tell you what about the children starving in Africa. Then I'll tell you what about this earthquake that happened in Indonesia and so many people died. What about this flood? It's tsunami. What about that? Why are you talking about Nancy Pelosi's husband and not about the tsunami in Indonesia? This is why this line of critique is not only stupid, profoundly stupid, but it's hypocritical, which makes it ironic. Because you see, at its core, whataboutism as a technique is supposed to be used to call out hypocrisy. That's why people are using it against me or you. They say, you're a hypocrite. You're not talking about Nancy Pelosi, or you never mentioned anything about the children, whatever the heck war they want to talk about. But they ended up being the hypocrites themselves, because then you can find easily a very important global matter, tragedy, natural disaster, man-made / artificial disaster, and flip it back at them. And what about this then? Therefore unmasking the utter hypocrisy that makes us all cringe. No more whataboutism, shall we? Let's ditch the whataboutism and let's talk like adults. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much. Proudly presenting the pendant of the Noble One. Look at this beauty. Original custom design created by me in collaboration with Viking Jewelry. And it's my way to celebrate all of you, because as you know, I've been calling you Noble Ones for the last 12 years. Well, this is indeed the pendant of you, the Noble Ones, who are the Custos Veritatis, written here in Latin, and it means keeper of truth, because that's the only thing that matters. The truth, whether it offends them or not. So, available in both silver and bronze. I think my favorite is the bronze one, but they're both great. And this can be bought as a set, as we offer the original ring of the Noble One, available in silver, bronze, and gold, the bracelet of the Noble One, Silent Oath of Truth, and a more low-profile version of the ring for those who prefer something a little thinner, which we offer also in bronze, silver, 14-karat gold, and 18-karat gold. Use the code NOBLE1 for a 15% discount at checkout, and massive thanks to each and every single one of you, and thank you to my haters for supporting my work.